Hey guys, my name is Shauna Manzella, and today I'm here to talk about the toxic algae bloom that blankets Florida's beaches and prompted a state of emergency earlier last week. Now, a green slime was recently discovered covering the beaches of Syrup Beach located on Florida's east coast. Now, this slime is actually not a slime at all. It's actually a toxic algae outbreak that has blanketed Florida's beaches and lakes and heartbroken the locals who say they don't see an end in sight anytime soon. Now, according to CNN, Governor Rick Scott declared a state of emergency earlier last week in Martin, St. Lucia, Lee, and Palm Beach counties due to the miles of smelly, guacamole-thick algae that has become so big they can actually be seen from space. Now, the algae originated in Lake Okeechobee and then later spread to nearby beaches, causing locals and tourists to flee. Now, not only is the smell horrible, but this will also have a devastating effect on the economy and marine life of not only Florida, but other surrounding states as well. Now, since the towns affected are, for the most part, 100% driven by tourism, and the tourists have fled, the economic impact is devastating. According to a local who goes by the name of Jordan Schwartz, who owns a surf shop in Ohana, he says you go to the beach, and it's usually crowded because it's the height of summer. But you go now and you have empty beaches, empty restaurants, and empty hotels. Now, for those residents who don't depend wholly on tourism, but they do depend on the water for their income, the algae is also life-changing. Now, according to another local boat dweller who goes by the name of Robinson, he says he's finding himself cleaning driveways of local marina hotels lately in order to make a living because his fishing business has come to a momentary halt. Now, although this seems devastating, it does not stop there. This growing problem isn't just affecting the state of Florida. According to Dr. Bill Loda of Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, says that the impact of the bloom is tremendous, but the worst is yet to come. Now, the cause of these huge algal outbreaks is actually the result of excess fertilizer being used in both agricultural and home settings. Now, once you put down this fertilizer, and there's a big storm, you have runoff, and this runoff brings the fertilizer and it dumps it into the lakes and the oceans that surround these agricultural and home environments. But the problem is becoming much bigger than we imagined, and officials are starting to use the word unprecedented. And they're starting to fear that these algae outbreaks will travel through the oceans and affect surrounding states as well. Now, although they are attempting to stop the algae in their tracks by reducing the flow of water from Lake Okeechobee, they don't think that that's going to actually finish off the problem. Now, Florida Governor Rick Scott has recently announced that he would propose a new funding to create a grant program that would help homeowners living near bodies of water to switch from septic tanks to sewer systems. Now, this would improve the community's wastewater systems, which they hope would eventually improve the algae problem. Now, although this shows slight improvement right now, Florida is not in the clear yet. Now, the algae is not only having a devastating effect on the economy, but it's also affecting marine and human life as well. Florida residents and visitors have reported headaches, respiratory problems, and rashes, which officials believe to be linked to the algae, but they are not 100% sure. And as of right now, no medical protocols have been placed. Now, although there's no definite link between these symptoms and the algae, officials do know for sure that the cyanobacteria that has caused these outbreaks are fatal to marine life. Now, one of the biggest impacts on marine life is to the marine plants. Now, to show how it affects this, these are the marine plants, and when this algae comes, it actually puts a blanket over the marine plants and kind of acts like a shade. No sunlight can get through the algae because it is so thick, like Governor Rick Scott said, guacamole thick. Now, the shade prevents the sunlight from coming in, which prevents the plants from going through photosynthesis. The algae does not just stop there, though. It also kills sponges, oysters, and again suffocates the sea plants by blocking any sunlight to reach the plants at all. Now, according to Henry Brancio, who is a geologist at Florida International University, he says there comes a time when the water can no longer sustain life, which means that there will come a time that the water on its own will not provide enough nutrients to the plants and the oysters and the sea creatures to sustain life. They need sunlight. Everything needs sunlight to grow. And if something is not done soon, marine life may not survive. Now, this toxic algae bloom had blanketed Florida beaches and prompted a state of emergency earlier last week and affected marine life, the economy, and even humans. Officials fear that if something is not done soon, the deadly algae will spread to the other states and cause a nationwide panic. Thank you guys for listening, and again, although this algae has not reached us yet, there's no telling that it won't.